Capital Improvement Committee today. Start off with the approval of the minutes of April 1st. Everybody had a chance to read them?
Yeah.
Any questions or comments? Corrections? All those in favor of the motion? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay. And next is Dr. Fitzpatrick. It's not a good sign when I call Dr. Fitzpatrick and you look around like, who's that?
Good evening, everyone. I need a microphone here.
Is it on Zoom?
Pardon?
Yeah, that's Zoom. Yeah.
That one, excellent.
It's Zoom.
Oh, okay, I know, I didn't know if it was picked up, okay.
Yep, it is.
Here we go. No meeting, no handout.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I can, I'll walk you through the items which I just distributed. The first is a letter which I sent a year ago in the budget presentation for the previous fiscal year. And in that, the body of that letter, on the back side of it, the last paragraph, it alerted all 13 finance committees, all 13 boards of selectmen, all 13 town managers, and others that they should expect that I would be making a recommendation a year later, which is now a year later, for the likelihood of a bond for accelerated repair. And we were awaiting to see if the state's Mass School Building Authority reopened the window to apply, and it did. So as soon as that happened, we filed an application, a detailed application with the state to be eligible pending approval by the towns. It's necessary that the towns vote yes in advance to show that the money's there before the Mass School Building Authority will grant the reimbursement. In any case, it's just an indication of the advance alert. The next page is a communication I sent. I was alerted that the chair of the committee wanted some additional background information relative to this plan to borrow. Okay, and so that was provided as a cover letter. Then the next sheet was the amortization, which several finance committee members across the district. We have 126 of them. Okay, and there's not a capital planning committee in each town, but there are in many 6 or 7 towns have some version of a capital planning commission such as yours. Certainly that makes sense. And so the amortization is proposed with some variables. Okay, we know that from our estimates from multiple sources that the project should tally some $10 million. There's a 30% inflation because that's what's recommended.
Is that included? Is that included in the 10 million?
Sorry.
Is that included in the 10 million?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. We've got to cover everything within this.
Yep.
Yeah, we cannot exceed it. Okay, so, yeah. And the first year impact, which is the first year we believe will be FY26 by the time the state takes action, is 60,000 at the max, okay, under the current 5% projected. Now, we know that people follow the federal borrowing level and see 7% and other numbers, but usually municipal financing is not at the, commercial residential level. So we'll see how that plays out. The next one is a new information sheet. Thought it might be helpful to make certain, and there was some conversation at your finance committee and elsewhere, that the fact that we have to promote a program or a project at 10 million somehow suggests that 13 towns, and Joe said this to me, first on me as well, like 13 towns are appropriating 10 million. That is not the case. That's the total cost of the project and the project was submitted to the state. Bellingham would be responsible for 6% of that. That's its portion. So the pie chart is an effort to show, you can see here that Bellingham 6% translates to $9.50 annually, okay, at the high water mark of $60,000 first bond. And then the idea is to pay down the debt with any of the reimbursements we receive and any other rebate we receive. We've got a pretty good track record with this, okay, which I'll highlight on the next page, right? so that the remaining borrowing is less. Now, we don't usually ask for any borrowing. Last time I came before you or for the town for borrowing was 20 years ago. Okay, at that point, we received 75.5% reimbursement. And after 10 years, when we were able to lower or secure a better interest rate, we did just that. And then we rebated money to the towns. So we consistently do that. If you look at the backside, I think that's the most interesting aspect of all. We recognize that school districts and municipalities operate under master plans. We have that as well. Here's a copy of the master plan we have, okay, and have used. But we continue not to ask our towns for capital improvements. If you look over the 31 years I've served as your superintendent, rarely, if ever, will you see any capital items requested of your town or any of the other towns. Here's how we do it. Instead of doing that, we look to see wherever we can, latch on or kind of opportunize any money that the state provides. This is my principal, Anthony Field. It's my recommendation to follow me, so you might see him in the future. In any case, so if you look at this compilation, this is a listing just since more recently, since 2011, of all the different awards or reimbursements we received from the state or from the grants to make capital improvements. And if we didn't get money from this source, we didn't make the capital improvement. Now, one thing in fairness to any school system, Blackstone, your vocational technical school has 18 vocational technical programs. Graduates, that dispersed across the district. But we're blessed with carpenters and, electricians and HVAC specialists and others who oftentimes help do work in the school. Even the plumbing department does work. So, and not every school has that kind of technical expertise, within its walls. And so oftentimes when we get these grants, we can maximize it by acquiring the material and then using subs where necessary, meeting the, fair wage obligations, and also sometimes creating learning opportunities that are safe for students. But this is a track record of the different capital improvement projects that we've made, not at your dollar, but at this getting the dollars from someplace else to make the improvement. And so we just think it's part of our responsibility to be creative, aggressive, entrepreneurial, if you will, with finding alternative ways to raise money. Those who might be interested in this particular project, this is the model that the school students did in engineering. We have specifically targeted, with the help of infrared studying and other work and analysis, 60,000 square feet, 54,000 square feet in this section of the building, and another 6,000 here. These are the sections that have the, 37, we said 34.
37 units.
37 units, 34 years old. Okay, relative to the wear and tear. And these are the areas that we have filed with the state indicating we need to fix them. You don't have to fix them one time or not, eventually. This is the most cost-effective way to do that. I've now made 12 presentations in the district. No finance committee, no town manager, no select person has indicated they would not support the project. That doesn't mean everybody voted, because they oftentimes don't vote right in front of us. Right, but the logic of this, in the words of the vice chair of the finance committee in Douglas, this is a perfect fit for the fact that the previous debt is concluding and you're moving into this debt without doubling up in any given year, not starting it till 26, filed with the state once again to see if we can get reimbursement and minimize the cost to us, but protect our 60-something-year-old building at the vocational technical school. Each town has 12 other partners for the contributions, and the last 3 accelerated repair projects were reimbursed at not less than 53%. There was a request. Some of the towns are not in the same financial situation you are, not that anybody is flush with cash. And so they asked us if we would build in a requirement that the Mass School Building Authority approves the project, or else we wouldn't go forward for this particular, attempt. So we did. We agreed to do that. The school committee wanted to meet the towns and those communities that asked for that. And so the warrant article, including yours, specifies that it's a vote by the community, by the town at the town meeting in this case, and also requires approval by the Mass School Building Authority. but it's a two-step process, okay? The towns, it's like a passport loan. The towns confirm that they will invest in the project. The state then is monitoring how we do with that after the town meetings are done. And then we hopefully provide the evidence that to the Mass School Building Authority, yes, the towns want to do this in this 13-town partnership. And they want to do it with the understanding that they'll receive approval from the state. People said, well, can you tell us what will the reimbursement rate be? No, the state wouldn't answer that. We all know that the state is in flux relative to some of its finances, okay? But I say the track record in the past has been the lowest we received is 53%, right? So in summary, that's the project we have, and I'm glad to answer. The other thing I sort of mentioned is that this approach to go to the state for money has generated this type of notoriety. In Gloucester, when the governor at the time awarded this to us to make it 850,000, right, 850? 830,000 for a biotechnology program. This totally funded that project. And so we had the oversized check done for the photo shoot with the governor. This is an example of the way we have consistently tapped the state every time they make it, they offer an opportunity, that we've gone after them and said that would you consider funding Bellingham's vocational technical school. The finance committee voted in favor, 6-0, I believe. You probably know that, okay? And so we hope you'll also support us. We'll be writing to other planning commissions and other capital planning commissions, or presenting if necessary.
Just out of curiosity, what's the rest of the condition of the rest of the roof?
It's younger.
How much younger?
Uh-oh.
We did it in 3 previous phases. The previous phases were less than $1 million a piece, so we were able to self-fund those with MSBA reimbursement, roll it into the next project. The last one was 2019. That's this section right in here. This section was done roughly about 5 years ago. This is the only portion left that we did a restoration on this about 13 years ago. So it was about 19, 20 years old. Restoration, think like Flex Seal. They put a rubber coating on it. That had a 10-year warranty and lasted about the 10 years that it was expected to, but now it's about approaching 14 years old on that restoration. So you got a 34-year-old roof that's already been through a resto process, and definitely time to replace, as the infrared studies show. The rest of the portions, the oldest is less than 10 years old.
I'm assuming it's a membrane.
Yes, yeah, PVC membrane.
I'm curious, the one off on the right, on my right.
Yep.
It's pretty plain, but so that one is like a strip down the middle. How come
Oh, okay.
that
This,
didn't get taken care of when you did the rest?
yeah, it's the configuration of the building itself. This actually, at one point, as the building grew, you have a mix between what was formerly exterior space and interior space.
Okay.
And this section basically is a bisector between 2 other sections of the building. There was also some gas line work that was being done there. There's a large dust collector here that requires a 4-inch gas main, and so they didn't disturb that at that point in time.
Last week, with a $750,000 grant, I think it's included on the list, they installed a brand new dust collector system here, which is really an air quality system. It's much more complicated than dust.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but it's a, these are the kinds of improvements we've made to continue to create quality air, quality lighting, safe environment, and protect the investment. There's 300,000 square feet here. This is reconfigured to see the front of the building. The school was initially recognized as the first green renovation school in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So the photovoltaics and all of that, they're newer. Thank God we don't have to fiddle with that.
Yep.
It's a good question.
Okay.
I have no questions.
Anybody else? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to recommend the the $10 million bond with our share not to exceed percent.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Jack?
Hi, Jack. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
You all set? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you at town meeting.
Thank
Dr. Morano.
Yeah. Read. How are you?
All right, get started. We have four. Oh, okay, all right, so we'll pass this one on the 50. Okay. We have three. Okay, first, we have two compressors at the high school. One at Lights End, one can be fixed, one can be repaired. So one of the rooftop compressors needs to be replaced. And one of the compressors, they both service the auditorium. So they both need work. One needs to replace, one needs work. So total on that is $60,412.
Is this gonna be sole source, the honeymoon?
This is Honeywell quote, correct?
That's what's gonna do.
They have our contact now, yes.
Okay. And everything was carrying one of them or replacing?
They're repairing one of them, the other one needs to be replaced. One is on the ground currently, the other one's rooftop, the rooftop needs to be replaced.
Any questions? No. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? One down.
One down. Second one is the entryway foyer, and auditorium hallway. As we went to the auditorium, it's all tile right now, ceramic tile. It's breaking up. We have shards, we have spaces, it's a mess right now. It needs to be replaced. So we're looking at replacing it with the
Talked about
LVT.
this before.
We have talked about it before, yeah. It's gotten worse since, so the total on that, we got three quotes, but the cheapest quote so far was $99,024.
Same materials for the three.
We're looking at the LVT again, yeah, the 30 mil, commercial LVT.
Is that the one you're planning to go with, the 99,000?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one that did our last phase also, the.
So you worked with them before.
We've worked with them before, yes.
You're happy with that?
Yes.
Any questions?
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
All right, last one
You're
would
on a
be.
roll, kid, keep going.
Last one would be the Petro Elementary School heat pump system. Right now, we have a chiller down there that has reached its life's end and needs to be replaced. We have had some problems down there since it was last summer when the chiller went down with mold and mildew creating in the area. So we need to cool those areas because of the condensation that builds up in those areas. This will also act as a, heat source too, so it'll help us with our current system also.
Just a question, Doug. How often do you have the ducts cleaned?
Since I've been, we haven't had the ducts cleaned, so, and that was the first, our first one was based on, what we've seen in the year, plus that I've been here, that we didn't have a lot of preventative maintenance going on in the schools with our former contract. Now we're trying to catch up on all the preventative maintenance, the filters, the oiling, greasing and whatnot to make sure everything that we have lasts as long as it can.
You had multiple quotes, you had 2 quotes on this, right?
There are 3 quotes on it. Yeah.
Yeah, which one are we going?
Right, currently New Wave is the best, and they offered us, I think, the most comprehensive quote, along with the massive incentive of $123,500 coming back. So it was a $240,000 project that was getting $122,500 back, so it cost us $117,670.
So they had 3 options.
They gave us 3 options, yeah, with the 3rd option being the best, yeah.
And is this? So these were all contractors, these 3.
Correct.
So how did we get the specs for what we wanted to put in?
They did site visits. Excuse me, site visit to the.
So the contractors came up with what the design is?
Correct.
As opposed to having a mechanical engineer do it?
Correct.
Are they writing some kind of a guarantee that the system is overburdened or?
I can get that information from them for sure.
And is this eventually eliminate, I assume there's a boiler down there?
We have 2 boilers down there, so it'll help the other 2 not having to work as hard as they're working now, but it won't eliminate the other 2. This is just gonna be, this particular heat pump is just gonna be for the administrative areas, the cafeteria, the library. That's the chiller is currently functioning or using in that areas.
So
those areas right
classrooms
now.
don't have.
No, the classrooms do not have it, no.
Any questions?
No.
Comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you.
Just want to make sure that we're not missing anything, so anything else you can think of that I know. I'm gonna start on the booklet stuff this week, so. But when I was looking through, it seemed like we. brought
Well,
up
I haven't
everything.
seen this with everyone 3 times now, so.
Yeah. Okay.
We all set?
I think we're good. Yeah, we don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
You're all set, Beth, right?
I can't, we can't discuss, or what is it, we can't object to a motion to.
You can't debate.
Is there
I've been
anything,
told that.
is there anything from your perspective that we're missing to deal with it?
She answered the question, there's no one. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.